So we're here this morning with our friend Kevin Twomey from T&T Seeds, whose specialty is just making planting mixes that make things grow like crazy. So Kevin, you've got 3 mixes here that you use for different purposes. Tell me about this first one.
Good morning, Dorothy. This is our starter mix, or plug mix we call it, and it's very fine. We use it in our 20-row seed flats for seeding, and we fluff it up in a cement mixer first, and we add about 5 pounds of worm castings to every batch that we do it for every bale, so it gives it extra nutrition to start growing and gives it all the minerals.
And it lets the seeds come up without having anything in the way.
It's not it's not very fine, so it's easy to fill, and it's easy for the roots to get in and to keep it moist.
So is it mainly peat moss, Kevin?
It's peat moss, vermiculite, and perlite, but finely ground down.
Very finely ground.
Very fine ground. Where the other, our next
so number
one
2
is called HP mix.
Right.
HP stands for high porosity.
Okay.
It means it doesn't hold much water, that the water goes through it quite regularly. So when you're doing up your flats of annuals and that, everybody uses this mix, the HP or number 4 mix, because it's easy to water and it doesn't stay wet, it doesn't rot.
So again, that's peat moss and...
Peat moss, vermiculite, and perlite.
But just
not ground as fine as the seedling mix.
And do you put anything special in that one, like the worm gold?
Again, the worm gold we put in everything. So we mix it up with 5 pounds of worm gold to a bale.
So worm gold is actually the castings of...
Worm castings.
Worm castings. Fantastic. So now then this third one
is called BX, and that isn't as finely ground as either one of the others. It holds more moisture, so that's very good for containers or larger pots, because it will hold moisture.
So what's in it to make it hold more moisture?
Yeah, just again not ground down as much as the other 2 mixes, so then it'll hold more moisture. And again, we put our worm gold in here as well.
So what's the ratio of vermiculite to peat moss?
It's usually about 50% peat moss and about 25% vermiculite and 25% perlite.
Now some people like to use actual soil. What do you say about that?
Well, if you mix it in, I would use, if you're going to do containers, I would use about 1/3 real soil and then 2/3 of an artificial mix.
And that helps keep it more moist?
It holds moisture, and it has more minerals in it for the plants to grow. These we fertilize regularly, but once you do containers and get them outside, they don't get as much fertilization.
So that's why it's important to use that soil.
Because it balances it, it holds more moisture, and it's more natural for the plants to grow in.
Okay, is there anything else people should know about the soil?
No, just that again, when you're starting seedlings, not keep them too wet. It's better to mist them. In here we mist 6 times a day.
Right, I've heard that it said that you should water the seeds, not the soil.
Well, yes, that's right. And bottom heat, especially when you're starting seedlings, you need bottom heat to keep the soil warm so that the seeds will germinate quickly.
So is that accomplished through the sand that's here?
Yes, we have a boiler, and we run piping underneath, and we fill it with antifreeze. And we keep this at about 25 to 27 degrees Celsius, about 75 to 78 Fahrenheit.
So these things really took quickly. We planted some a week ago. They're up already. Is that common?
Yes, we usually start germination here within 3 to 4 days after planting. So, and then again, it's a growth curve. You get off to a better start. They grow quicker, faster. They mature earlier. And by adding the worm gold now to ours, we started our greenhouse 3 weeks later.
I've noticed the roots are really strong in the things we planted.
Yes, they get very well established.
And that's part of the worm gold?
The worm gold helps them to push out roots. It keeps the plant healthier, stockier. We have less problems with disease or insects by using it.
And because it helps the plant to fight off disease, insects.
It keeps the natural health of the plant up.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Kevin. This is very helpful.
Anytime, Dorothy.
All right, thank you.